There's been things on the news, for example, such as ChatGPT using data from books, which are sort of
Mm.
copyright protected. Maybe on a broader scale, do you think there's a trend of AI startups and founders like that being careless about where they get their data and how they use their data?
There always been some degree of experimentation and dirtiness in innovation. It's by the fact of innovation that we do something new, that we expand the knowledge of the world, and that we create things out of nothing. That process is in itself, um, by comparison with industrial processes, who are of a next step improvement of things. Those processes are radical, and radical is a little bit dirty. Otherwise, it's not radical by simple understanding. So it is necessary to be a little bit radical, to say the least, to create innovative solutions that
Hmm.
end up bringing whole new classes of
Mhm.
products, of ways of thinking, of ways of usage.
Do you think while people are trying to innovate, there are still steps that they can take to do it in a sort of ethical way? Or is there something?
Certainly, certainly. Certainly, going back to my own experience, once back in the day, we had this situation where the government asked us to build an AI to help find children at risk of being molested. Um, and obviously, that is something that would scream out everything. And we were able to do it in a time. This was back in 2015. In a time where nobody was even talking about this, and we had to make some harsh product decisions, not only to secure the children, but also to look at exploitation and risk, even from the suppliers themselves. So in the end of the day, we kind of used AI to justify that. Well, instead of making this product a full product stream, a whole new company that we could,
Mhm.
we ended up delivering a product that added a little bit of information, but due to the fact that we were very far away from the software users, and very far away from the humans who would be impacted by this, and we said to ourselves, well, we're just going to deliver this little bit of feature here, and if anyone wants more, they're going to have to come back. And we're going to have to strengthen the controls around the way that information is used.
Hmm.
Now, obviously, we could have done exactly the opposite. We could have facilitated the product to a degree that uh, some of the risks wouldn't be there, and that probably the users would find a little bit more features. But once we were making these design decisions, we were thinking about protecting the users that this decision would affect upon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tricky because you really need to develop a product from a perspective of
Mhm.
how much impact will this have, um, how this may affect a human in the end of this product that is not even interacting with the product. So we thought about it from an information point of view, how this information might affect this person or not, and
Hmm.
what is useful in terms of the world to receive about this particular person in terms of protection. Those are the questions that kind of helped us to develop our design.
Do you think most people think about those questions in advance, or is it sort of once they start to work on it, then they get the chance to think about
Mm,
things?
um, software doesn't work like that, right? Software is also a discovery process, and we have to realize that from let's say a normal software product point of view, which is fairly mapped, everybody knows what to do. It's completely different from an AI development perspective. In AI, we have to think back about the scientific process, the scientific reasoning, and we're constantly looking for, let's say, a set of hypotheses that we need to find data to prove or to unprove. Um, Sometimes even question everything.
Mhm.
um, but from a product and simplicity point of view, we need to focus on a combo of what do the user needs, what sort of information does he have access to, what's the medium of that information, how to retrieve it, what's the implications backwards from an
Got it.
AI point of view. In AI, I wouldn't expect that to happen. In normal software development, I would, because it's way more known, and we're
Got
not
it.
dealing with a lot of experimentation. When you're dealing with a lot of experimentation, I would expect otherwise.
So there was a thing recently where I live, which is in India, about how the government collected a lot of identity data from its citizens, and then that data got leaked by a third-party contractor that they were working with. So I was just curious about that side of things, where governments are trying to be more advanced with their data usage and the precautions that they're taking, and or lack of precautions as well.
Well, today we live in an age where um, it's fair to say that governments are still not educated from an information point of view, or to not to abuse it point of view. Um, Governments historically have had um, a need to control. That's
Mm.
the whole premise of government is to control something
Yeah,
for the wider public. Having said that, and I'm not saying anything specifically about India or about the
yeah,
country that I am in.
understood.
I'm just
Yeah,
being broadly. But
yeah,
if we go and look into the evolution of laws, the evolution of the use of data, um, we can see a stream of events where there is, in the last, I would say, 5 years, a little bit because of COVID, but COVID was just a blip. Um,
hmm,
there is an increase of the usage of data in ways that are less, uh, um, let's say, inducive of freedoms. On the contrary, this data has been used to control citizens in their various aspects of life, from accessing a government issued document to knowing where a citizen is traveling, to knowing where what a citizen is looking for, to, in some places of the world, to even control what the citizen is able to say online. From an information point of view, that's complex and complicated because, obviously, as software developers, we are in the midst of all of that. We control that, what actually happens, or we are made to control that as well. Um, I would definitely prefer to see humanity use the skill of information management and software management in ways that empower us to use information better. And from a government perspective, I would definitely prefer to see citizens having much more access to data to improve the work of government through transparency. Because
Got it.
governments exist for citizens, they don't exist as an entity that is supposed to control them,
Yeah.
in my view.
What steps can anyone, whether it's a government or a business or uh, a business that's just starting up, to uh, um, ensure that they are utilizing data and for data security and to protect sensitive information? Are there like some initial steps uh, that can be taken, if at all?
Hmm. Well, this is a very complex subject to get into, but I can say a few things that will make an impact um, on the ways. So I would say that first and foremost, one of the biggest things that I've seen is always lack of collaboration and understanding. So what usually happens, either in companies, governments, etc., is that you have a combination of people going into this problem from their own siloed view. So you've got the security guy, you've got the databases guy, you've got the program manager, etc., etc. So we can multiply this for at least 10 or 15 people. Anyway, they're always lacking collaboration in the sense that they attach themselves to a project and deliver their own point of view, but they're not very concerned with the depth of that point of view or the implications from a 360 point of view. Now, these days, the thing is, we need to change our thinking, because 20, 30 years ago, the silos were so divided that the implications of our work could only be seen way, way further ahead. Now, we are reaching a state which I would describe as a state of data fusion throughout the world, where we have capabilities to mix and match everything to such a degree that immediately we can build immensely powerful data products, while at the same time the implications of those products can also be exceptionally bad.
Hmm.
So, but like everything, everything stays in the middle. There's a combination of outputs. So,
Yeah.
as specialists, our job is to build a governance forum where we discuss these things. We go over the design, we understand the implications, we do tests, and we're practical.
Got it.
And we find things, solutions, and bridges in terms of the knowledge that we share with each other that allow the group to have an understanding and a respect of the implications of the stuff that we're building. It's as simple as
Got it.
that.
Yeah.
But obviously, it takes time, it takes respect, and it takes a discovery approach to managing complexity, because that's ultimately what we're doing. We're trying to manage complexity as a group, and we're carrying. So we're inputting into design ethical or caring approaches to the output. We're not just delivering a small software product. We're actively looking into the world and trying to understand the implications of some of those choices.